Grandpa got sick, and that was in 59.
It's 58, 59, yeah. He died in December of 59.
Yeah.
At the same time, Granny Hanegan was sick. And that's when you were living in Washington. David was in the service?
Yeah. So, after Grandpa Tiller died, then Grandma sold the farm, sold the house here, and she kind of moved around and lived with the different daughters for a little while, and then she had an apartment back in Dassel.
Yeah, she thought she wanted to stay back there. Well, and she was there for a couple years, I guess, or whatever. And then she decided to come on back out here. She wanted to. And then she spent some time in Virginia, some California, and some time here. So.
Then she passed away in
60, January of 63. So, and so first we took my dad back to Dassel in 59, and then we took my mother back there in 63.
Yeah. And Rick got to go with you both times, did you?
No,
just
the once. When he almost got left on the train in Spokane. Got left on half the train.
Because they uncoupled the train and...
Yeah.
Nobody said we were supposed to get off. Go back to our other car.
It was snowing. Remember?
Yeah.
A lot of snow there. It was nighttime, dark. Well, the second I went, Virginia went with me, and Jim and Michael. Yeah. I guess Carol had a real bad time. She came too. Going back, it was stormy. She took the bus to Minneapolis, and then it was a blizzard. She had to stay in a hotel all night, and she was scared all by herself. And she had to get a plane to fly back to Boston, and the plane was late, and
yeah,
she really had a bad time getting home.
Yeah. Huh.
Those were the days.
Yep. Well,
You can shut it off now.
For a small intermission.
So sorry I mentioned it.
we're going to talk just a little bit about Vic Hanegan's parents and a little bit of their history, just to cover some background.
Yeah, well, Granny Hanegan was born in Germany. Her name was Ost, and
Anna
Hanegan, and she lived in Canada. I don't know how come they were in Minnesota first, and then she went to Canada, and she was working in a restaurant there, and she told me once, and she got off work or whatever, and she was headed home, and some man came along and was trying to pick her up, I guess, on his horse. And about that time, Grandpa Hanegan came along and saw her, and boy, he rescued her and took her off. He was dressed like a cowboy and just ride.
He was.
So that's how they met. And
Huh.
I don't know how long before they got married. They lived in Canada till Vic was about a year old when they came across into Montana. They started working, and he wanted to work for the Montana Power Company as a lineman or Grandpa did, and
his name is Frank
Hanegan, yeah. And I never did know for sure how come he was in Canada, because he was born in Iowa, but but I think his dad and he went later, or their family went up there and took out a homestead or something. And so anyway, when he came, after he married Anna and Victor was born, they came back into Montana, and he worked for the power company. And then there was, they live in different towns in Montana. I know they lived in Butte and in Nyhart, and there were, well, 6 children altogether. I think they were all born in, if I remember right, born in Montana, except Alan, weren't they?
I'm not
sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, one winter when it was very cold, he was working on a pole, and the pole broke and fell to the ground, so he broke his back. So he couldn't do that kind of work anymore, so that's when they decided to come to Oregon, where it was warmer and where they could find other work. So when they came out here to Oregon, they I don't know, they had a garage in Portland for a while, and then they bought a chicken ranch out in Tualatin and moved out here. And then that didn't work out so well, so they moved back to Portland. And the times were pretty hard then for them also. And then they came back out to Tualatin, and he had a small, I don't know, garage across the street from where our service station is now, and worked there, and then they moved over to had that station there. And spent the rest of their days there.
Yeah. Where was Frank born?
He was born in Iowa. I can't remember the name of the town. So, probably not. And he had, well, he had a sister and a brother, and then his mother died and his dad remarried, so he had 3 or 4 stepchildren, brothers and sisters. So, and they all lived in California.
That would be like Uncle Paul and
Wayne.
And Granny had sisters. Anna had what?
Anna had, there was Bertha and another sister that lived in North Dakota, Martha, her name was. And then she had 2 brothers. They lived in Canada.
And she corresponded to Germany to relatives.
Yeah, she had, I suppose they were cousins or maybe nieces that she wrote to in Germany. But after she passed away, we never did hear from any of them.
We just got through having a flood in Tualatin, and which was a 100-year flood, and we were looking at a picture in the scrapbook of Granny Hanegan, Anna, standing on the house in on the porch of the house in Tualatin back in 1937, and Elmer and 2 other gentlemen. Who was in that rowboat?
Well, probably Alan and Frank, or the dad, were in the.
Yeah. They were rowing a rowboat in front of the porch there of the house in Tualatin back in 37. That was one of the other high water years, I guess.
Yeah.
So that gives a little bit of insight here to
Their
family and friends of the
Hanegans.
Hanegans and Tillers.